Military Brotherhood Radio presents the Beer30 Show.
Alright, hey, welcome to another edition of Beer30. Me and Jerm are in the house. We're here to talk about a great nonprofit. This is one of the nonprofits that I'm really thrilled about. I love talking to nonprofits that are sort of big, but not sort of big. They don't use commercials to advertise helping. They use word of mouth. They don't plaster stuff all over their soldiers like a billboard. It's just a great organization, and I'm so happy that we're talking to Hope for the Warriors. They're a national organization. I'm really thrilled to have these guys on, Jerem.
Well, that's fantastic. We got the opportunity to provide the ability for all the listeners to listen to them as well.
Yeah. So how's your week been? I know that you're kind of kicking a headache right now.
Yeah, I got a rack and skull ache right now.
Should have
But
took
I'll tell you,
Imatrax,
hey,
right? Hey everybody, if you didn't know, so our good friend, our sound guy Todd, our sniper, he recently left the show. He was having some back issues, and I think he needed to take care of him and his family a little bit. We will miss him, but nothing but future success for him in his ways.
absolutely, Joel. I mean, right now he'll get the family support he needs to take care of his rehabilitation after everything that's been going on for him. So it'll be good for him to take a breather and see what happens perhaps one day if he wants to become involved again.
Right, most definitely. Well, without further ado, we have, and I know I'm gonna butcher it, but that's okay. I'm gonna give it a try. We have Christian Nunez on the line. He is one of the spokespeople. Well, he's acting as a spokesperson today for Hope for the Warriors, and I've worked with him for now, I believe, 2, 3, 4 years. Hope for the Warriors. How I got involved with the Hope for the Warriors is my mother had pancreatic cancer, and she died about 4 years ago, and I went to Hope for the Warriors, and I told them, hey, look, my mother's dream was to go to Alaska. I do a lot of stuff for soldiers, but I'd like just one thing done for her because she's the one that showed me the light. So Hope for the Warriors provided me, my wife, my father, and my mother her last trip. And unfortunately, after we got back from Alaska, within 2 months, I believe, she died. Pancreatic cancer is terrible. There's no cure for it, and once you get it, you have about a year to live, and if you live past that year, then you're pretty blessed. So I was kind of blessed that I came up with Hope for the Warriors. A good friend of mine, John Lujan, he's the one that referred me to them. And Christian, thanks for coming onto the show with such short notice. We really appreciate it. Um, I, I'd like to take this moment and ask you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely, Joel and Jeremy. Thanks for letting me come on this awesome show. So my name is Christian Nunez. I'm the Military and Veterans Program Manager for Hope for the Warriors, based out of the New York City office. But like you said, I work nationally, so I work with the Outdoor Adventure Program, and I help select and recruit the veterans and family members of the fallen to attend the events nationally, whether it be hunting, fishing, hiking, or trips like yours. I also help with the New York City local events. So anything that goes on in New York City, I'm kind of the liaison or conduit between that person that's interested in hosting the event and Hope for the Warriors. Myself, I got involved with Hope for Warriors. I'm an Army reservist. I'm a sergeant in the in the Army Reserves. And I had heard about the organization when I was getting my master's in clinical psychology from a buddy of mine. And, I decided to reach out to Tina Atherall, who's one of the founders, interned for a couple of weeks. And then after a couple of weeks, they hired me. And I've been there since. So it's been about 4 years I've been with Hope for the Warriors. And like you said, I love everything about them. They're very grassroots but national at the same time. Very family oriented. The base roots of it was, to support not just that veteran or service member, but also the family as well, and more importantly, the family of the fallen as well. To treat them as if they're the veteran themselves, because everybody deploys when that veteran deploys, just in different aspects. So it's important to highlight the importance of that family unity, and that's the thing I loved about Hope for Warriors, and that's the reason why I stuck with them and why I support them 100% right now. So again, honored to be on this show, and look forward to talking about and answering any questions you guys have.
Outstanding. Now, Christian, you might have said it, but I missed it. Now, you yourself, you was in the military at one point, wasn't you?
I'm actually still in.
You're
Yes,
still in.
Still in.
Oh, okay.
In the Army Reserves, yep. Pushing
Okay.
5.5 years now.
Wow. Okay. All right. And do you feel comfortable telling us that your rank? Are you in the Army or?
I'm in the Army. I'm a sergeant right now, but I'm hoping to pick up staff sergeant by August. So, fingers crossed.
Awesome. Yeah, I know that the Reserves and National Guard is a lot harder to get ranked than active.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what MOS you have and then what unit you're with, and if they have the slots available for that promotion and rank. Otherwise, you got to either transfer to a different unit or pick a different MOS that can allow you to use that slot for rank. So it can be a little tricky. The process is a little different. It's not just going in front of a board. You have to submit a packet. Whereas active duty, it's a lot tougher, where you have to go in front of a board and answer a whole bunch of questions. We do that in reserves somewhat. It depends what unit you are. My unit likes to do that, so it can be a lot tough for these younger guys who don't really have that active duty experience to go in front of a board and try to get that advancement or promotion rank. But again, I don't mean to digress, but yeah, it's just, I guess you can say, unit and MOS dependent. That'll dictate whether or not you're going to be able to advance in the ranks pretty quickly or not.
Awesome. Okay, so I guess we'll start out by asking you, Christian, what are a list of programs? I mean, I referred to one, but what are a list of programs that Hope for the Warriors do? And if you could, each program, kind of describe what each program does, so that the listeners get kind of an idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So I remember when you first started, it was broken down into programs. Now it's kind of more organized into what we call pillars.
Okay.
So I'll start with the pillar I work in. So the sports and recreation pillar is the one I'm in. And within the sports and recreation pillar, we have outdoor adventures, which includes, the hunting, the fishing, hiking, kayaking, anything that has to, that revolves around outdoor adventure or getting outdoors. And that's the purpose of that, is kind of reintegrate that, getting back out into nature, Mother Nature. It's very therapeutic for a lot of these veterans and active duty and their families as well, just to get out there and get back in touch with nature, whether it be getting grassroots back into hunting like they did when they were kids, or just getting around a campfire and talking to other veterans. Because as you know, it's there's a stigma about going to counseling, going to therapy, going to inpatient programs. So outdoor adventures is kind of an inpatient program itself, in the sense that you're bonding with other veterans and you're communicating with other veterans and sharing your experiences. So it's kind of a cathartic method approach to just relaxing and conveying what you're feeling at that moment. So that's been a very popular and effective program. We partner with organizations such as Buckmasters, who's been a huge support to us, Mossy Oak, and Real Tree, National Wildlife Turkey Federation, and a lot of like us, grassroots organizations that just want to help veterans through supporting us by offering their lodge and weapons and everything like that. So it's been a great support to us and a great benefit to the veterans. We have within the sports and rec, we have our team Hope for the Warriors, which is run by my good friend Steve Bardignoli.
Okay.
And what that program is just encouraging people to get back out, to getting their competitive drive again. So we offer bibs to New York City Marathon, Marine Corps Marathon, Marine Corps Half, all those big races. We offer bibs to these wounded veterans that in the past wouldn't even think about doing it, but this is a way to kind of entice them to get back out. We offer hand cycles. That's one of the things we do is donations of hand cycles. To kind of convince them, hey, get back out there, get that competitive nature. It's one step at a time. This is kind of opening the door for them to get back out. And that's also a benefit because that also supports our community as well, because Hope for the Warriors is nothing without the community. So we offer, all these bibs to all these big races and events to the community as well. And it's a way for them to represent Hope for the Warriors and convey that message of word of mouth rather than, like you said, commercials, to get Hope for the Warriors name out there. We also have Run for the Warriors, where we have our own run series that happen all over the U.S. from New York to North Carolina to Florida to Texas to California. We have our own Run for the Warriors series where we promote Hope for the Warriors, obviously, and all the money that comes from those races goes right back into the program. So it kind of recycles the money back into the program, so we can fund like trips like yours, or sending a veteran to go climb a mountain somewhere out in South America or something like that. So Sports and Rec it's a huge and very popular program, or pillar, excuse me. Other pillars we have are our clinical health and wellness, which includes critical care coordination, working with veterans, their families, and families of the fallen with social work, therapy, financial advisement, helping with bills if they have bills, and other various things that have to do with clinical issues. We have our education and employment, which helps with career transitioning, so transitioning from active duty to civilian life. So with resume workshops, we have partners that will donate their time to completely revamp a veteran's resume and translate that military experience into civilian experience so that they can tailor to a specific job they're trying to get. We offer, information on open houses, in terms of job fairs and everything like that. So it's kind of getting these guys off the couches and, into a suit, quote unquote, to get back out there and contribute, to what skill set they had in the military, to what they can bring to civilian life. We, like I said, we're very family oriented.
Right.
So we have a spousal care and scholarship program, which encourages the spouses of veterans to go back to school. And we usually offer that a couple times a year, and it's about for $5,000 each scholarship. So it's kind of, getting that foot in the door for that spouse to say, you know what, I've been here supporting my husband or wife, but I kind of want to go do I want to support and move forward in my life as well. So I'm going to apply to school, and this is kind of a way to encourage them to say, hey, listen, you help, you serve your husband or your wife by, supporting them and taking care of the kids while they were abroad. Now it's your turn to go to school, and it's your turn for your me time.
Now I got two. Don't mean to interrupt. I got two questions really quick. The first one was the clinical pillar that you're talking about. Now, is that the one that the PTSD program, the program that you guys send to Queensland? Now, is that under that pillar, or is that under another pillar?
It was. Correct.
Okay.
You're talking about Holliswood Hospital. So just a little backstory, and so Holliswood Hospital was a hospital that Hope for the Warrior had worked with, and that was a private facility, one of the very few private facilities that had a military inpatient psychiatric program where they did focus solely on military. And the way Hope for the Warriors was involved with that was every Friday we would provide luncheons and provide meals for them to come downstairs and just talk and relax, and it was a way for them to just, get out of that mindset that they were in the hospital. And at the same time, while they were receiving that therapy and those programs, we would fly their caregivers or spouses in to New York City and put them up in a hotel. And the purpose of that was we had a specialized program where one of our coworkers who specialized in that in school would do group family therapy. So they would bring that caregiver or spouse and then that veteran together, and they talk about the issues that they're having and methods to solve it, or methods to to deal with it, because there's no going back to what it was prior to deployment. You have to adapt to that new normalcy, and it's teaching that spouse or caregiver that, listen, your husband or wife is never going to be that person that they were before, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. You can still
Right.
move forward and have a positive life. And these are ways that you can address certain issues or triggers or anything that's going on with them that has caused friction in the past. Now, it's a very effective program. I sat in a couple sessions myself, and I could see the positive progression going forward with that program.
Now, how
And
many soldiers do you would you say average wise utilize that program a year?
mm, I can't tell you a year. I remember that every Friday I would go. There was probably about between 8 to 15 veterans there at one point.
Wow. Okay.
The unfortunate thing about being private is it's privately funded. So back in 2013, the hospital they were trying to get bought out by a major hospital here in New York City, and the deal fell through. And last minute they informed everyone, including us at Hope for the Warriors, that they would be closing their doors, unfortunately. So that program, along with the hospital, was discarded, unfortunately, because it was no hospital anymore. And those veterans that were in those programs were relocated to various other VAs or other inpatient programs. So it's an unfortunate event that it happened. We're hoping that we can start that again somewhere. We're looking to see if there's a hospital and a place that would work for what we did back then. Whether it happens or not, or when it's going to happen, is still unknown. But it was an incredibly effective program that I personally helped assist with, and I loved it. And it's unfortunate that it went away, but hopefully it's not going to go away for too long. So.
Okay. So the program it's kind of on hold, and
It's on hold, yeah, because the hospital closed down. That had that program, so we had to stop it because there was nowhere to do it. Unfortunately, we still do individual care here and there with our social workers. That will do the same thing they did in the hospital, just on a minor scale. Before it was 15 guys, now it might be one or two, and they might be coming into the offices directly, or a way that we meet them, vice versa. So it's not like to the scale that it used to be. Hopefully one day it will be, because again, that was a very effective program. It's just you got to find that right fit, that right hospital, that right program. You can't just rush into it and just assume that it's going to be just like it was before. So it's a tedious process. Hopefully, it'll come back soon.
Okay, awesome. So, I mean, even though the hospital closed, now so the program's on hold, and when do you think that the program will start back up again?
The one in New York City,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know. I
Okay.
can tell you that we do have a critical care staff that answers calls 24/7. So if there is issues, if veterans having an issue, they do have that caseworker that they've been assigned to once they go through Hope that they can contact, and that they can communicate that way. So it's not like because that program was closed, there's no clinical counseling or anything like that. It's just that physical location, unfortunately, was shut down. But anytime a veteran or service member or a family member needs assistance or needs someone to speak to, they have that caseworker they've been assigned to that they can communicate with. And if they don't know who that is, they can always reach out to us and say, listen, I have some questions, I have some issues, I need to speak to someone. Who do I need to talk to? And they will be a response will be sent with, all right, not a problem. I'm going to CC your caseworker on here now. She's going to reach out to you, or he's going to reach out to you, and we'll try to pacify that situation. So,
Okay, so if a soldier has
yeah.
issue and they call you guys about the PTSD, even though that stuff's on hold or whatever, you guys have a backup plan. You guys are able to help them.
We have our clinical staff. The program you were talking about was a specific program that was just here in New York City.
Okay.
That was an inpatient program that we happened to see, we happened to like, and that we happened to forge a relationship with and put our assets in there. That hospital closed, so that is closed. But our clinical health and wellness pillar, which includes a critical care team, that's still fully functioning, running. So anytime a veteran has issues such as that, they can email their caseworker, and whether or not they can provide the services they need, they can provide resources as well. So
Okay.
if they can't exactly answer those questions, they can find out who the VA is nearby, who the caseworker is, or if there's any other nonprofits that are in the area that can assist with that as well. So there's always going to be an answer. It's never going to be, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Okay.
It's going to be,
All
I'm
right.
sorry, I don't have the answer, but we have this list of resources that we can provide to you that you can look into that will be able to answer those questions.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm sorry I interrupted and stuff.
No, no,
I
no.
just wanted to make sure to get that information out. I'll let you continue with the other pillars. I'm sorry.
No, that's what I'm glad you asked that because it's nostalgic too. It brought up great memories. Um, one another popular program is kind of like for those who know Make a Wish Foundation. You make a wish and then it could be granted. We have something like that, but it's called the Warrior Wish.
Okay.
So every year you can submit an application and it can be your Warrior Wish. So this year I can tell you off the top of my head quite a few wishes were granted. One of them was a handicap accessible minivan. Another one was a boat. Another one was a house, I believe, or fixing up a house. And there have been a couple other. I think one was a wedding to pay for the wedding.
Wow.
And things like that. So it's whatever your wish is. So if your wish is to climb go to South America and climb one of the highest mountains there. Let's just say that for a reason. That's your warrior wish. So you put that, you submit the application, and then I don't know how many times a year. I'm sorry, I don't want to say the wrong number. A committee comes together, a board, and then they select a select few of those wishes that they can grant, and then they grant those wishes. So it's kind of just like I said, like Make a Wish Foundation, except it's a warrior wish. So it's for those wounded veterans, and it's a great program. And like I said, I've seen great wishes granted, and I can tell you that all those people are excited and very happy and grateful. So it's very unique because I haven't really seen that anywhere else. So
Right.
I'm pretty happy
There
about
isn't
that.
any. Yeah, I had looked around. There isn't any other programs like that except for like little kids and stuff.
Yeah.
And with that Soldier's Wish program, that's one time. That's not something to
That's a
where,
one. Yeah, it's
yeah,
a one
that's not
time.
something to where a soldier can like apply for every single year. It's one
No,
time,
no.
one wish.
Unfortunately, no, because of money.
Right. Well, it makes
that's
sense.
yeah. That's the really tough thing about nonprofits is that you want to grant every wish. You want to say yes to helping out every veteran that has financial difficulties or wants to go somewhere for a trip but needs someone to pay for their flight. You want to say yes to everything, and it's so tough. But unfortunately, with nonprofits, especially ones that don't make a lot of money, and by a lot I mean like over 20 million, let's say, for instance,
Right.
you have to really be selective about which wish you grant, about which flight you pay for, because you might pay for that flight for that person to go do that trip that they want to do, but then here you have a veteran a spouse who needs to get to Walter Reed to see their husband who was injured downrange. So that again, it's really tough, and that's one of the hardest things about being in a nonprofit is having the courage and to just say no, because you have to say no sometimes. You can't
Right.
say yes as much as you want to say yes to everybody, because they're all deserving. They all signed that blank check. It's just not possible, unfortunately. So to mitigate that, if someone, let's say, requested assistance with their gas bill or their electricity bill, one thing that the critical care team is big on is before, when the nonprofit first started, they would grant everything, but then they realized that, well, we can't do this because we're losing, we're not having a lot of money to allocate to other programs. So now it has to be service connected. If you have 3 cars and you're paying car payments on all those, and you have cable, internet, and all that, and top speed and everything, there's a reason why you're in financial difficulties. And one thing they might say is like, listen, we can't assist you financially, but what we can do is give you financial counseling. So how to manage your money better. We can connect you
Right.
with someone to kind of mitigate that influx in debt, I guess you can say. So there's, like I said, sometimes the answer you get isn't the answer you were expecting, but it's not necessarily an answer that won't help you in the long run. So that's another good thing. One more thing. I know I'm rambling a little bit, but
No,
one great thing
you're perfect. You're perfect. Go ahead.
Okay. One thing I do love about Hope for the Warriors is that, like I said, it's very family oriented,
Right.
very community oriented. So we're big on support, big on volunteers. We do a lot of cool stuff. For instance, a couple things here in New York City. We do the New York City Ball. We do the New York City Thanksgiving Day Parade. The Christmas tree lighting. So things like that, I personally send out to everybody and say, hey, listen, we have the ball drop coming up. We have this coming up. We have this coming up. If any of you are interested in coming, just let me know. And it's not just a veteran. It's not just a service member. It can be in their family. And so I mean, it's encouraging to bring that family, kind of reintegrate that family unit. These are ways you can to kind of go out on family trips. Doing that ball drop is pretty cool, or going on to a barbecue that's hosted by a civilian that just wants to work with veterans. Saying, hey, there's a barbecue coming up in Long Island, or in North Carolina in Camp Lejeune. You can bring your family. You guys should go. So it's not just, hey, veteran or active duty service member, hey, we got something for you guys. You guys should go to this. No, it's, hey, bring your family out.
Nice.
Let's get that family coming out again. And that's one thing that I love about Hope for the Warriors is that because it was started by 3 military spouses, they knew the importance of a family unit. Myself, I'm a military brat. My dad served 22 years in the Navy and deployed multiple times. So I know what it's like to just be me, my mom, and my brother. I know how hard it is to not have that family. And then when that veteran or when that person comes back, how awkward it is because you're so used to doing things, a different way because you had to adapt. That when that person comes back, it's like, whoa, you're kind of messing up what we had going on.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring that up about how Hope for the Warriors started because I was looking through some of the history. When it first started, correct me if I'm wrong, but it first started, it was for Marines only, and then just like the Semper Fi Fund, now it's being available for all military branches.
Yeah, so the history behind it was started by 3 Marine Corps spouses, Shannon Maxwell, Robin Keller, and Tina Atherall, and how it started was they saw that back in Camp Lejeune, they saw that influx of wounded veterans, that first kind of wave, like serious wave coming back from Iraq, and they saw that gap in care, that gap in awareness. So they got together and they said, you know what? Let's put a run together for these guys. It won't be something big. We're just going to do a run, raise awareness, and raise funds for these wounded Marines.
Right.
And they did it, and it was such a huge success that they said, hey, we can do more with this. Let's expand it. Let's do some more. And that's how some of the programs started getting created. So yeah, it originally started with the Marine Corps because they were all Marine Corps spouses on Camp Lejeune, or rather, some people say Camp Lejeune. And from there is when it blossomed into that nonprofit, that national nonprofit, and that's when they started to tailor to all branches of the service.
Now, when did Hope for the Warriors start? What year?
2006.
2006, and I just want to bring up to the listeners that I have researched it, and Hope for the Warriors is on Charity Navigator. It has 5 stars, and it even shows that 37.1% of the funds go to the clinical health and wellness pillar, like you was describing, the community and military relations. 18.9% of its funds goes to that, and then sports and recreation, 14.8% goes to that. So the big huge thing, Jerm, is that the clinical health that the PTSD follows under, that's the one that they spend the most money on, and I think that's really important for people to know, especially when they go around asking, I want to help wounded warriors. Who do I donate to? Well, here's an organization that is battling, the PTSD, and they've got the numbers to show it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you highlighted right there. You hit on the point, and that's the thing that people have to know is that when most of the veterans come through our program, or excuse me, veterans and families and Gold Star families as well, they come initially through the critical care, the clinical health and wellness program, inquiring services about assistance for inpatient programs or information on resources where they can get help. And it's from there where after talking to them for some time, they're like, hey, I know you're going through these issues. Have you ever thought about running? Have you ever thought about bicycling? Have you ever thought about, hunting or going to events and just, bringing your family? And that's how it kind of, it's not a direct, hey, like direct, snap at, hey, you need to stop with this. You need to go do other stuff. It's like, hey, listen, we know you're having issues, but I just want you to know that we have these other programs that have been proven to help and be therapeutic. And if you would like, we can give you information on them. And that's why that clinical health and wellness has such a large percentage of donations going to them, because I guess you can say they're the facilitator. You go to them first, and then from there you spread out to the other programs. And one you did mention that I hadn't gone to yet was community and military relations. And that is huge. That pillar is one of the most important, because that is what connects us with the community, and the community is what keeps us alive. Like you said, we're word of mouth. We're nothing without the support of our community, civilian and military.
Right.
So those donors that want to put all that money on the table and to say, you know what, we heard what you do, we want to support you. That is so important. Those sponsorships, those thank yous, that is all, everything falls into place. Everything has a purpose, no matter what the amount. Like I told people, I've gone out 2 hours out of my way to go accept a check that was like for $95 or $100. It doesn't matter about the amount of money. What matters is that you supported us, you gave the money to us. So I'm going to go out there and thank you for it, because the community, nationally across the U.S., they all want to support, but at the same time, they want they want that nonprofit to acknowledge them as well, to say, we're not just saying, here, give me your money out of your pockets. We're saying, we're giving our hand and saying, thank you for your support. We'll never forget what you're doing. And if there's anything we can do for you, please let us know, because it's so gratifying to help someone, especially when that person is a veteran and their family.
Right.
So the importance of community within a nonprofit is insurmountable. I can't even stress how important it is. But you hit it on the head where you talking about PTSD and how a lot of the money goes to them. Well, if it wasn't for that community and those funds being we receive from them, we wouldn't be able to fund clinical health and wellness program. So it's kind of like I guess you can say veteran-centric circle. Every pillar has its purpose. Every pillar supports each other pillar. It's not like any pillar stands independent of its own. With sports and recreation, for this Run for the Warrior series. So when we host those runs, that money we get goes back into the programs. It doesn't go back into sports and rec. It gets distributed across each program, each pillar. So every single cent that comes through Hope doesn't directly go to that pillar unless it's requested by that person. Like if they say, hey, listen, I love you guys, I would like to donate to the clinical health and wellness, and particularly, they can do that.
Right.
Then they can see the value of the dollar. They can see where that money's going. But if they want to just donate generally, they can do that as well. So there's all these different ways of donating and also seeing the value of that dollar being spent. And I mean, you can clearly see it, especially with grassroots nonprofits. It's a lot easier because it's not as big.
Exactly. Well, hey, Christian, we're running out of time. Before I let you go, is there anything else that you want to finish up with, like something that you want to be sure to tell either the listeners or the soldiers, something before you leave?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I just wanted to say that, Hope for the Warriors, like I said, doesn't tailor just to the veteran or that service member. It's also to the family and family of the fallen. And you don't have to be a combat veteran. A lot of people mistaken that. You just have to, post 9/11 veteran. So whether you deployed or not, it doesn't matter. If you're interested in any of the programs, you can still apply. While some do require a combat deployment, such as clinical critical care with financial assistance. Most of them do not. So, I always encourage people to get involved with Hope because it's a very family-oriented nonprofit, and you'll definitely have a great time and meet some great people, whatever program you select. So I always encourage people to go on Hope for the Warriors, check out what we have to offer. If you want, like you said, go on Charity Navigator, and you can see it's actually a 4-star, which is the highest, but we've had that for 4 years running, which is very huge. We've been ranked in the top 10 nonprofits by certain websites as well. So, definitely check us out. We're a great nonprofit. We work with a whole bunch of other nonprofits that we do love. It's all about, sharing the wealth and sharing the resources. So we're all about working with other nonprofits as well.
All right,
I just want to say
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
For your service to this country and for what you guys are doing right now by contributing, by raising awareness yourselves to highlight, the severity of PTSD and how people can help and just how important it is that people are aware of, what veterans are going through when they come home, not on the battlefield, but, off the battlefield. So, thank you for what you guys do as well.
I appreciate it. Before I let you go, give us the website and give us the phone number that they can get in contact with Hope for the Warriors if they need something before I let you go.
Yeah, not a problem. Okay, so Hope for the Warriors, it's www.hopeforthewarriors.org. Again, that's www.hopeforthewarriors.org, not com. As for the phone number, I don't have it in front of me right now. But,
that's okay.
Actually, I'm sorry, it's right here. It's 877-2-HOPE-4W. But if you go on the website, hopeforthewarriors.org, you can scroll down, and it has the number among the programs and everything else about Hope for the Warriors that you can check out.
All right, awesome. Well, Christian, once again, thank you for coming on the show with short notice, but I really appreciate it, and me and you will talk real soon because I got that bike thing that I like doing. You're gonna help me with the bike thing, so I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.
So, all right, we will talk to you later, Christian.
Okay, take care.
Have a good one. Bye.
All right, you too. Bye.
All right, well, I'm glad that we was able to talk to him. So we are way past time, but that's okay. So before I let you go, Jerm, make sure that you tell your wife that we kind of missed her today. So what did you learn today?
What I learned is the full opportunity provided by this organization to provide everything that you perhaps want if the funds are available to give that support, Joel.
I learned about the PTS clinic thing, the hospital that we were talking about, that it's on hold. And I also learned that dogs are worse than kids. They're very annoying. I got my dogs over here scratching at the door and barking and stuff. So if you hear that in the background, I apologize, everybody. But, well, time is running out. Like I said, the music's starting. And me and Jerm will see you guys next Monday. And, yeah, that's about it. So, everybody, have a great week. And join us back here next Monday. And I don't remember if we have an interview or if we have a discussion. But we will talk to you guys very soon. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.